So some majority are newcomers, newbies. Very few, you say, experienced.
Most of the time, yeah. I mean, really, so I mean, now that people are starting to listen in, just give a little bit of an introduction. I mean, my name is Max from Express Capital Financing. We have Ijaz with us, who's a
Nice.
great realtor, investor, all-around guy in real estate, someone that you definitely want to know and speak with. And pretty much what we want to do is educate as much as we can. We got, everyone in real estate goes through different experiences. We all learn different things at different speeds. And, when we get to talk with each other and communicate, we get to really, like we said, learn from all other people's mistakes so that we don't make the same ones. So that's really the reason why we do these webinars. We want to be educational, informative. So if you guys have questions, please let us know what's on your mind. Let us know what you're thinking. We want to answer all of your questions and make sure that we're being as informative as possible. So my name is, like I said, is Max Chera from Express Capital Financing. We are direct nationwide lenders for hard money, commercial mortgages, residential mortgages, any type of investment property, or any type of investment strategy that you have regarding around real estate. We are happy to help, and we have programs to help. So if you have any questions about it, you can reach out to me. But right now I want to turn our attention to Ijaz, who's going to talk to us about an actual rehab that he did during COVID. Back when, they were saying you're not allowed to show properties, you're not allowed to walk into properties, no permits, you can't do this, you can't do that, but he still managed to buy a property and rehab it. And I'm excited to hear all about it. And I'm sure everybody else with us is as well.
Thank you. No, thanks. This is 103 days. Okay. So thank you, Max, for having me here. You and I have talked a number of times on different things, strategies, what's going on in the market. But thank you for allowing me to join this webinar here. I have attended a number of them, especially a lot more during COVID. I think everybody has. And I think this is a great opportunity to, one, learn from the individuals. And there's so much out there that you can, learn from. As a newbie investor, when I joined, I really always was interested in the beginning stages of every investor. How would they actually get started? And that's, Max and I were talking about it and figuring out what kind of topics to present to the group. I just love the concept of going through an actual deal, concept of how we're purchasing it, how we're going about actual raising monies to buy it, what kind of thought process that we go through in our mind, because there's so many exit strategies that we could do. And what strategy do we actually end up choosing? And then how do we go about selling it and, making profit from it? Max, good news. I just closed on it this week, 3 days ago. So the checks are in.
It's official, signed, sealed, delivered.
Big smile. Yes.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's important also to go through like actual deals. A lot of people, they hear real estate and they're like, oh, it's a pipe dream. It might be this, might be that, right? They're not sure. They hear like, oh, there's money in it. It can't be real. But when you actually get to show it and say like, hey, look, not only is it real, but it might not even be what you thought it was. It's not easy, right? It's not simple. It's simple. It might not be, it's not easy. It's simple, right? Because people do this every single day, but getting to actually see how it came through from start to finish just really opens people's mind. They're like, okay, now I can understand this. Now it makes sense. Now I see that what work you had to put in and what you got out of it.
Right, exactly, and it's very important. So hopefully, you can chime in anytime you feel that I need to, explain a bit more. If folks have questions, if you want to shoot them out, whatever works, we'll get to it.
Absolutely. Just so everyone knows, by the way, they could put their questions or comments either on Facebook Live. I'll be monitoring that and making sure that Ijaz sees them, as well as the question and answer section on Zoom, which I'm sure everyone at this point is a master of. So just keep the questions coming and we'll make sure to get to them before the end of the webinar.
Okay, excellent.
Take the floor, man.
All right, so I'm going to be presenting my screen. Max, I need your help to screen share. It says it's disabled.
Yes, let's give you the access you need. You should be able to do it now.
Okay, Okay, you can see the screen.
I see it.
All right, excellent. So thank you, everybody. Ijaz, Mirza. Had trouble with my name, so that's how Jazz came in. Jazz, just like the music. So it's a lot easier. And you know what? I've gotten good feedback on this, and so hopefully we're continuing. I am a licensed real estate agent with Nationwide Homes for about 4 years now. I'm a licensed contractor as well. Sometimes when you go through enough rehabs, you figure out that nobody else can do a better job than you, or they mess up enough times that you're like, that's it, I've had enough. I'm gonna manage it myself, especially the major mechanical. So that was the reason behind me getting my own license. And then also I've been investing since 2013, really. 2012. We actually had to do a short sale on my parents' house. I had no idea about real estate. So my parents were underwater. We were living together, and everybody was getting married and going to college. And so we needed to downsize also. And then not being able to afford the house. So I was kind of the distressed seller on the other side. Technically my parents, but yes, I was on the other side. It turned out an investor jumped in from a recommendation from another friend of mine. And it was Farhan Malik from the Apex Group, who actually ended up going through the short sale process. 6 months later, was able to close on the property from $316,000 mortgage down to like 182. And then, I knew he was going to make money, and I've seen some of his work. But he invited me to a training. I ended up doing a weekend seminar, Saturday and Sunday, and Monday I was up and running.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was good. Just, I didn't know how to raise money. I had no idea how to find deals. I had no idea how to get the work done. I mean, I was not handy at that time. Didn't know how to sell, but it turned out these partnerships are great in this business. Ended up, bandit signs used to be great. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Ended up buying my first property, and with the help of a mentor, that's why I never turn down any type of mentorship programs. So definitely, if you need to find a mentor, great, or partner with somebody who's able to help you with do deals. Oversaw the process, and now up to like 50 plus properties. Single family, multifamily, a couple of things here that talk about what I've done. Nothing new here. I love the creative financing side of the business. I've done multiple deals after that from my owner financing side of it. A couple of things in 2020. I think many of you guys know some of these folks already here, but it's been a good year so far. I don't know if COVID, it started out as being something very gave us a scare for sure, but we ended up making the best of it. We've done a lot of events before, during, after, and then number of things that I've benefited through this year. Construction wise, we've slowed down during COVID, but obviously ended up in a couple of months later picking back up. We've done all kinds of projects. I've even raised houses in beach town, so full blown. But I want to get into the actual mindset and just a little bit of a process, or a couple of things that I've learned from another investor throughout my time that I think you will benefit from here. In the rehab game, or actually any type of real estate model, there's three things really that if you can master, and it won't come to you right away, but if you can master these three things, you'll be in a much better position to have a very successful business. finding a deal. That is always one of the toughest things that people have challenges with, because that's your barrier into the business. A lot of people wholesale starts with finding a deal. Investors fix and flips, we also have to find deals. Even if you landlord, master on that. If you can figure out ways to get your name out there, get marketing going, get stuff going, inbound is always great. But obviously do outbound marketing if you need to. So that is a very big piece of the business. Second, obviously, is capital. Either you use hard money, private money, your family, with whatever happens, and we've done all mixture of it. We'll talk about that, how we were able to raise money here, and then also the rehab construction. A lot of people get scared of it. I still know a lot of wholesalers. They just don't want to get out of that game because they're just scared of rehab side of the business. I actually was forced into that position to learn more and more about it now, especially just having some bad contractors here and there. And, once you find a good team, then you rely a lot more on them and less on your own expertise as well. But I think it's good to go through the process and learn it. Selling side, anybody could sell, and a real estate agent could sell it for you. You could sell it yourself, market online, and especially in this market, it's great,
You've probably been super busy because of that.
Yes. So I want to get into our deal. This is actually not the deal that we're going to be talking about it, but this is the deal that actually brought me the next one. During COVID in Piscataway, I had bought this house. We made it really nice, beautiful, listed it. And while I'm listing it, these bandit signs, I don't know, a lot of people are having trouble with. I was very successful. When I started in 2013 with bandit signs, it was great. My first couple of deals came through these bandit signs, especially the ones you post on the polls or on property or different. But right now I'm only utilizing these bandit signs at my own properties. Every property, I put them out there and they generate leads. I have somebody right across the street who came and, that was one. The one that I ended up buying was another lead that came from it. And one more, I think potentially we're still in discussion with. So let's see what happens. The right here, this is the house that I did a flip on, and then I was good friends with neighbors. Talk to your neighbors. I ended up talking to this guy, and the house that I ended up buying was on the next street over, literally right next door. Wow. So COVID March, mid-March, right? Everything, early April, everything shut down, right? I thought we were 2 weeks and we'll be done, we'll be over with and get back to normal. Boy, was I surprised. Everything shut down. We're no longer doing any construction really. But, I get a call from a lady next door, literally on the next street. And that's the exact message that I'm presenting it to you. Any inbound marketing, obviously you have to follow it, you have to nurture it, you have to figure out what's their hard point, just figure out a problem that you have to solve for them. 5 people living in a 1.5 bedroom, it was a really tough situation for them. But I didn't know that. I had never seen the house myself. So that's where the conversation started. I asked her, obviously nobody was going out to look at those houses at that time. I just simply asked her to send me some pictures and a video. Unfortunately, the video got deleted, but it's somewhere, I have to find it. It would have been nice for you guys to see the actual video that the owner took. So ended up having the video of the house. Then I had started to take the video of the basement. I did a drive-by, quick numbers, and then I simply made an offer. There was.
Did you walk the house even, or not? You didn't even walk inside the house?
No, not until we agreed on the house, the price, some kind of timelines, nothing. It was sight unseen, just a video, basically. Well, some of those things help you if you've done a deal next door. you know what kind of area you're in.
You know what you're dealing with.
So it's good to know your town, your areas where you're investing. 3-4 new construction houses on the same street. You're not in a bad area. And then just you figure out what's going to happen there. But they wanted, I think, 270 or something, 250s, 270, something like that originally. And we ended up buying for 150, and I told her, I said, listen, even 200 is very tough for me. The best I could do is 150, no counter, nothing.
Nothing.
Like, okay,
No pushback.
We'll take it. I mean, they've been living in that house for 30-40 years.
Right.
The mom who bought it, and kids grow up, and she has her own kids now in that same house. They're very happy where they are now. From a small 1,000 square feet house to a new construction in South Carolina, they're very happy.
And if you don't mind me I was just going to say, if you don't mind me just adding in one thing, some people might think that, Ijaz is lucky, he got into a house, he gave a price, they didn't give him any pushback. The only way you get lucky is by putting yourself in that situation, right? He's called so many people, he's put out so many bandit signs, he's done so much different prospecting. By the time, you're going to get a deal that's going to go super smooth and easy because you're out there, right? Luck is equal to preparedness plus opportunity.
And build a rapport with them first, don't I mean, when I went there to look at the house from outside, I spoke to her. I mean, we were 12 feet apart, not just 6 feet at that time. But have a conversation with them on the phone. Don't be scared of it. I mean, I know a lot of people are shy about the phone. It took me a while also, and still sometimes you still have these butterflies in your stomach. But it's just have conversation. They're in a tough situation that they want to get out of, and if you can find out a way to help them, great. This is the actual closing. No, they didn't want to go out. Nobody was going out. We brought in that's the actual title guy. I think this is the first time I really saw the house. I think I was there to get some signatures prior to that. Just one time, original contract, a 2-page contract that we have. But I this was the first time I actually saw the house, and I'm like, okay, not a bad deal. The 2 offers that I made. So Max and I were talking about it a little bit earlier. I mean, cash offer is great, but I also choose to make an owner financing offer. Any kind of term offers you can make, especially with the houses that are free and clear. And you'll be surprised, about 33% of the houses in America are actually, free and clear. So don't be shy. Make multiple offers, and then when you make multiple offers, then the seller's brains start thinking about how, like they can, it's like they don't just have one offer to work with, but there might be other solutions. I've done that on like 3 different deals. And Terms bought me a couple of houses already. Here, I think the formula we used, standard formula, I think nothing crazy, ARV times 70% minus repairs. That's what I used. I think at that time, people were asking be a little bit more conservative. I've had some other investors offering 65. In Middlesex before COVID, I mean, I think we were at 75% also. It's like just so hot. The market was so hot, and now even you could get good numbers. But we're going to talk about the actual profit towards the end. The challenge here was, so I think you saw the picture of the house. After a couple of deals that I've done for smaller homes, I like smaller homes now, man. For some reason, I know that these big, beautiful colonial style houses are great. you know. But if you're new into the business, stay small, stay first time home buyer market, you know.
Easy in, easy out.
Easy in, easy out. Less work, less purchase, less rehab, less capital to raise, less work. You know, I mean,
More buyers.
more buyers, a lot more buyers actually. So I think I'm going to target 2-bedroom houses now. Just because they're good, especially with the single family houses. There's a ton of opportunity you could create. So I've done all kinds of stuff. So major additions, lifts. So new construction was our original plan. I actually, before we even closed on it, I had an architect meet me there, and we just did the outside measurements and started planning, because there's 4 houses that are new construction on the same street, you know. That was the original thought process. But you know, you study your town's zoning maps that are there. You know, you need to know like the setbacks that are there, and you could quickly determine, you know, like what route you could take on a lot. This was obviously a non-conforming lot. We did spend a little bit of money up front to do that kind of work, and decided that, you know, maybe it was going to take, you know, 4 or 5 months easy to get anything approved. First of all, the survey guy and the architect, you know, a month just goes by just like that. You know, no matter how much you rush them, it's still at the end of the day, you know, that a month goes by. Townships are going to take 4 or 5 months to do a zoning approval, especially where you actually need an approval. If it's a conforming lot, then it's a different story. Non-conforming, you've got a little bit of battle ahead of you.
You mind explaining that for people who don't know the difference between conforming and non-conforming?
So yeah, this one, you know what, I should have put up the zoning requirement slide. So every town has areas, okay, that, let's say R10, R5, R20, it's R7.5, whatever. Each zone, it requires a certain side of a lot. 75 by 100. This was 75 by 100 was the minimum lot requirement. We had 60 frontage, 60 by 150. So we were definitely over the total requirements, but it was still not, the frontage needed to be 75, ours was 60. So it was going to be a narrower, but you could still build a house, you know, a little bit, you know, not facing the front, but side, which would have been fine. And garage just goes in the back. And that's how our plan was. You also have to look at the setbacks that are in front of the house, sides, neighboring properties, and the back. I don't think we had any other issues except the frontage. So if those are not in line with those requirements that are posted by the township in every zone, that will be considered a non-conforming lot, you know? So anytime there's a non-conforming lot, you've got to take that, you know, battle to your township and see if they'll approve it. Majority of times they do. They don't give you a hard time unless you're building something crazy.
Putting something they don't want there.
Oh, no. In single family, you want to build 2 family, it's not going to go, you know? So that was our initial thought process. Actually, I had a couple of ideas as to what to do with the deal. Just because even I haven't bought a lot in Piscataway, but I've made offers. I've bought lots other places, but 150 for a house, let alone a lot, you know, like a lot would be great, 150, but I had a house built on it, you know, for 150. So it's no brainer. I knew you could do something with it and make money. Right now in this market, I love option 2. You know, just even the houses that you buy, I did it already on one house, and I'm about to do on the next, maybe 2. You know, we're just going to buy it, clean it out, you know, get all the garbage out, do all the landscaping. You could even do some of the majors, exterior, roofing, siding, you know, whatever, if that's needed. But just cleaning itself and landscaping. And now people can walk into the house. You know, majority of times the trouble is selling a house that is occupied number two, actually, once you actually own the house, you could do a wholesale as is, just clean it out. And that's what originally we were going to do. Brought in an investor, and he's like, happened to be a little bit of a friend of mine. He's like, Jazz, no, you're wasting your time. Just fix it, put some work into it and sell it, and you'll get a retail buyer. There's not much wrong with it. So, but I would have easily made 20, 25, 30 over it if I was wholesaling at that time. Option three is doable on smaller homes. So that's what I was saying. Another reason you like smaller homes is I've had rentals too. Everybody talks about this BRR model. You get it, you fix it, you put a tenant in there, and you're done with it. You can get your money out and move on to the next project. Not only you've made all your capital back, a little bit of profit, and now it's a performing property for you. So I was originally thinking of putting in even an egress window in the basement to make it, another bedroom. Yeah, absolutely. And but I think I got greedy. I saw the money. The model that we ended up going was, and actually, honestly, originally we didn't know what we were gonna do with it. We were doing new construction basically, but we were still going ahead and fixing the house. It's funny, getting it cleaned out, and then all of a sudden you're having conversation with other investors. Bring other investors to your deals. There's nothing wrong with it. I've gone and visited investors in their deals and to getting some ideas. Even to this day. Yeah, I think it's a great point.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, even if they can't come to your property, just ask them. Have them look at it. They can even help you do comps or something. Get some ideas. So that's one of the investors helped me flesh that idea, and that's what we ended up doing. This is the actual house after it was, some work was done. Nothing really major. We painted the cabinets, made the bathroom really nice, did a little bit of flooring here in the kitchen, in the bathroom.
You really weren't kidding when you said it was small.
Waterproof. Oh, this picture is a little deceiving. There's a side picture that I could share, but still, second floor. I don't know how they were, it is tiny.
Right.
Basement there's another room in the basement. This is where I was going to put out the egress window. Egress window, if for those that are not familiar with it, it's just, anytime you have to make a living space, you got to have a window where at least someone's able to get out of, or a firefighter, if need be, they can come in. So there's a certain requirements for a window sizes that you got to have. And if that is the case, if you could build that, a walkout, window in a room in the basement, then you could legally use that as a bedroom. So that's what I mean. Beautiful fence, nice backyard, deck, pool. You don't get lucky with this. New roof, new siding, a new paved driveway, a couple of years old, and a new fence. I'll talk about some of the numbers.
Okay.
So that there's a typo there. I think I was doing my numbers because it's only been 3 days, man. I was trying to finish some other projects and buy a couple of deals, and you don't have enough time to do the calculation. So we're up to, I think we spent maybe 15,000. The house itself is great. It's just the surprises that you get. Max, I'm sure you know. Every house.
There's always something that you did not anticipate that you're like, I gotta spend this.
Every house happens. And a lot of times you find out towards the end of it, towards your closing.
So how do you plan for those? Do you put a contingency in there for your rehab, or what's kind of your plan around that? Because it's always going to be there.
Yeah. So, the 10,000 we thought was what our rehab was, and additional 5 was the contingency. So total, I was thinking around 15. I said, if I needed to make it a little bit better, maybe 20, but I think 15, and we stuck to it, pretty close to it. Oil tank had some surprises, but nothing really, just metal. Yeah, plenty of metal out. The house itself was good. Recess and put enough lighting in there. Recess, even a smaller house looks bigger.
That is true.
Update it, clean it, and do as much as you can to make it look nice. The major surprises were just the hot water heater, especially. So Piscataway Township have gotten crazy too. They used to do fire and smoke only, but now they check everything. I know a new regulation that's coming out next year is they're no longer accepting gravel driveways. Yeah, January it's hitting. You're gonna have to pave it or concrete.
Wow.
You can't sell the
guess
house. Or somebody will.
You're going into the concrete business then.
And then, you could see a fence here. I wish I could show that to you. So there is a 4 feet. What is that fence? Oh my God. Chain link fence. So there's a chain link fence and then the white vinyl fence. Obviously, when I see the white vinyl fence, I think everything looks good. But the CO inspector comes to do a final CO. The neighbor complains. He puts a note on the on the inspector's windshield, complaining about the fence. Neighbors are great, man. You try to build real rapport with them. I was even going to help them with their flooring at one time because they like the floors, and unbelievable, man. Neighbors complain about your. Make sure you're not doing work early morning and late nights, and not too early on the weekends and Sunday. Forget it. Don't do any work. Stay away.
Also, they become your bosses, but they're also good to talk to because I'll tell you this much: there's always that one guy in the block that knows every single person, what they're doing, where they've been, where they're moving.
Oh yeah.
You find that one guy, and he will tell you every deal that's going to come up.
I was friends with the neighbor on the left side. A couple of them. I mean, I think Gabe De Silva. He talks about it. A couple others too. I mean, make a point to meet the neighbors. Try to and have them be your lookout. The lady across the street was my lookout. She'll call me, "Hey, somebody's at your house. The lights were on." Nothing better than that, man. You don't need a camera. Hey, make sure, can you leave your lights on? And I actually made an offer on her house. It came on the market when I'm working on this house. It's surprising that the agent didn't call me because my "We Buy Houses" sign was right there in the front, But that one sold for over ask. Unbelievable. That it is. The market is so crazy. So the fence story. Apparently, the fence that the neighbor has, it's his own fence. I was not wrong, but I had to get the fence out on the other two sides. It's funny. And I had to get approval from 3 different neighbors to go onto their property and get the fence out. I had to get this guy to move his plant. He had a garden type of stuff there. Thank God he didn't have anything planted over there.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable. It's like, and getting stuff done. Those were some surprises. Hot water heater was one of them. Electrical issues were another. I just small stuff that came up. Once you've gone through them, it's not that big of a deal.
Do you usually catch these surprises by doing inspections? And were you able to get an inspection done since it was COVID time?
So I've worked for Redfin for 3 years as an associate agent. I think anybody who it's a great model where you get paid for just showing houses, doing sitting through inspections and open houses and things. So I've attended number of inspections, home inspections. I'm a contractor myself too, and I thought I could, you think you can figure out everything when you go to the house and you're an inspector yourself. But you know what? They have so much garbage in the houses. Many a times, home inspections are not worth it if you have somewhat of an idea what you're doing. In this case, I mean, first of all, you couldn't even get in, and They had 2 dogs and 2 cats on top of that. 5 people and 4 animals. Yeah, in cages too, and unbelievable. So it's inspection's good if you're a newbie. I would recommend you do it. I would even do an appraisal if you're new. Why do hard money lenders make you do that? Because that's the main reason. They don't make you do a home inspection, but decent enough that you should. I think it's not a bad idea. I know another investor. Every house that he does a home inspection, even if in an as-is house with a bank. Do it. It's worth it. Once you have a licensed contractor, licensed specialist, especially a home inspector who can write something on piece of paper and it's a report. Do you know how long their reports are? 60, 80, 100 pages long. Once you have something like that, you can use that to negotiate anytime. COVID, we didn't do it, but I do. In some cases, I do it. With banks, I haven't. I would always do it. Don't matter. Just give them the report and tell them to fix it, or give it credit. Doesn't matter.
So I always do a report also, and that's the reason I do it also, is because I know that whoever I'm selling it to is going to get one. And you know what? If I can make sure that everything that's going to be on that report, it comes out clean, they're going to be very happy by the time they go through their inspection.
I've thought of even doing inspections after the house is complete, so I know what issues are going to come up and address them ahead of time. Because CEO guys get so mad when you try to bring them an application and your closing is a month or a month and a half out. They're like, "Why are you getting me involved now?" I said, "But you're checking 100 things. You want a chimney, sir. You want this. You want a chimney inspection. Have somebody verify it's solid. Oh, here, the handrail on the deck also was a bit of an issue." But random stuff that comes up. But it's good to know. An expert advice is good, because when you're in a house more than a couple of times, you're already familiar with it, and you stop looking for those kind of issues. Your mind already is settled. Like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. You don't point out, you don't see all of those things. But do an inspection, appraisal, inspection. Oil tank is given 100% of the times we do it. And I know we've found stuff. I mean, tomorrow we're taking out an oil tank at somewhere else before we buy it. So it's there. Oh, actually, today I have another lady taking pictures and videos of a house and sending it to me. Don't be shy and to ask people to do work for you, especially the sellers. It's worth it. If you could save a trip or can give you a good idea.
And no one's going to find it weird to take a video right now for you. It's COVID.
She is a little nervous about the video. She's like,
okay,
I'll take pictures for you. I don't know about the video. FaceTime is great. Luckily, I don't have a Apple, but FaceTime, if you have an Apple, they'll happily do it. Zoom meeting, they do it. But WhatsApp is great. WhatsApp, you could do a video. I've done that too, especially with my contractors. I do it all the time. They're nervous. They don't know what's going on, what to do here. All right, throwing on a WhatsApp video call and let's do it. Let's look at it. Right. One more surprise, and I guess it's still you learn every day. The sale, we sold it through a regular mortgage, agent who brought in a knockoff mortgage program buyer. I don't know if you're familiar with it, Max.
I haven't dabbled too much into it, but I know enough about it to know that it's probably not going to be easy.
And I asked some other real estate agents, I asked other investors, some of them have no idea, but agents gave me some idea. But it turned out that the agent that I was dealing with that brought the buyer, he knew what he was doing, and I said, hey, if this is going to cause any issues for me, you let me know now. We're not getting into this. He's like, If I tell you, you fix these 4 things, you fix those 4 things, I'll get you 100% passed inspection report. Because knockout program is it's just a neighborhood program backed by Wells Fargo, I believe. No down payment, no closing costs, and low interest rate, and you can buy down that interest rate almost down to 0. Like
You need to qualify.
0.12%. I don't know the details. I'm attending a webinar.
Okay.
I'm attending a seminar and getting some details about it, and I'm scheduling a meeting with the agent after now that we've closed.
Get me in on that meeting. I'm down to sit through it.
Yeah. The only negative that I've heard from people is their inspection. Horrendous. They check for everything. And they make sure you do it. I want to hire their inspectors. That's what I want to do. The guys open up panel. I mean, they check for everything and make sure they document it. And the way we did it and was good for us is anytime anything hits the report, you're in trouble. So you want to address those issues ahead of time. So this agent was great, man. Help me out. He's like, listen, we're not going to give a final report until you take care of this. I fixed those issues. And then he gave me a final report. A couple of things still ended up coming up, but not a bad program, you know? Oh, they made me put a closet. That was in the second floor. They made me put a closet, small closet, which was a little bit of more money, but it's okay.
In the bedroom?
In the bedroom, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I told them, hey, this other room you use as a closet. We could put a door, this, that, and the other, but it just ended up that they wanted a closet. Some requirements, but the buyer's happy, super happy. So I mean, everybody looks, you know, what are the end results? So I mean, imagine that doing a deal in COVID for a little over 3 months.
That is actually insane. How did you do the rehab during all of this?
3,
no
4
problems.
Weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's it. You know, in and out. You know, not a lot of craziness, especially smaller homes. You know.
Was there any delays in the rehab? Any delays in permits or anything like that?
No permits. They wanted a permit for a hot water heater after they did the CO inspection. They're like, no, this is not going to pass. It's a little too tall for it, and the vent is going down into the chimney, and there's this missing. There's no grounding, and they're like, you're gonna have to do a power vent or a smaller hot water heater. So we had to replace. Good working hot water heater I had to get rid of it from that house. It's going into the next one, I'm sure.
I was gonna say, you should have saved it.
We did. So that was the only thing. And one thing that I learned was, you know, when you do permits, they don't want to talk to you for at least 2 weeks. You know, they don't even call them for like you just put in a permit, man. Give us at least, you know, like, oh, I just got to my desk, and they give you all kinds of excuses. But to just let them know it's for CO, and they'll expedite it. And you know, some of the inspections, I know I had to schedule inspections 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. But in this case, they're like, okay, we'll come out. For CO, they'll come out 2 days, next day, whatever. So don't be afraid to ask for those kind of things. I called them. I said, hey, listen, the inspector said to write in, this is for a CO. You need to rush it. They did. Worked out good. But they made, and then they accepted pictures. You know, townships are changing. It took them, you know, we thought we were like, they're in the Stone Ages. I've had townships. Roselle Park did a Google Duo inspection. An inspection on a Google Duo. Anybody doesn't have, they were doing FaceTime, but I don't, so they're like, okay, the other option they had is Google Duo. It's a video conference, basically.
Okay.
It did a Google video inspection.
Yeah, no, you got it right. It's Duo, yeah.
Which is crazy. So that did help. Yeah. Purchase for 150, rehab 15, sale for 259. Obviously, there's commissions and closing costs and transfer tax, and people look at it like, oh, I made a lot of money. You remember, there's a ton of it that still goes out, but I mean, still, that's a good deal. I mean, I thought originally maybe even low twos was what I was gonna get. The market was nice, crazy. It's super hot.
Did
And
you anticipate a 260 sell, or was that due to the market increasing over the whole COVID that everyone was kind of shocked about?
I'm like 250, 150. I spent at that 10. All right, 260 is what I should target to sell. If I get 250, great. 259 worked out good, close to what originally we were thinking. Wasted some money on survey and the drawings, but that's part of your due diligence, part of your cost thinking process, whatever you want to call it. That goes on. Although I've had a couple of deals with survey issues, so I think survey is kind of becoming a little bit of a mandatory for me. Unless like, I mean, this fence is already there. I knew it, and it was approved, proper fence. Supra, do a Supra also, not Supra, Oprah, Oprah permit
Okay.
in the township. That's also good. I do that on every property now. Oprah request, oil tank, and then to give you some ideas. But I think survey should almost become some kind of a mandatory, because the amount of money you waste on it, the 700 you're trying to save, it's not worth it.
Have you ever tried reaching out to title companies to get surveys in, so you don't have to spend on it?
When you were buying it,
Yeah.
but
So that's something
for it,
that
right?
So what I do is anytime I want to get a survey, I will research the records, see which title company closed on the property last, and the chances that they have, if they purchased it within the last 10 years or so, there's a really good shot that that title company has a survey on record. And I'll just ask them to send it and they'll do it, no problem.
There you go. That's a trick. It would not have helped here because 40
Okay.
years, 30, 40 years, but still, I got the old survey from them, handwritten on piece of paper. But it was no good. My architect was like, township is not gonna be happy with this.
Right.
And ended up that the zoning, the CO officer that came, when the fence issue came up, the neighbor complained. He's like, well, now I have to, it's a complaint. I have to address this complaint. Give me a survey. Thank God I had it. I emailed him right there, and he's like, I can come out the afternoon, and I couldn't be there, but he still came out and looked at it, and then he called me up and he's like, you're gonna have to do this. He's like, the guy who complained is good. You're fine over there, but the other two sides, you're in trouble.
Oh God.
And it's a safety thing. They don't want animals getting stuck behind, even though that fence was on my property too.
And they would have never known if that guy didn't complain, right?
Nope. But it's okay. That's, I think, about it. I mean, I give these two advices to every investor that comes in, man. If you guys are new investors, we'll talk about any Q&As about the deal, but just as far as your next steps, I give this to everyone. Just put a budget together, man. If you're new, a lot of people get out of this business because they just don't do these two things. Small budget. I've started with a very small budget, $200, $250, $300. I mean, you're in a business. A lot of people say, hey, this business doesn't, sometimes it doesn't require much money, but at the end of the day, you still need some marketing, outgoing, ingoing, so at least do some kind of budget and stay with it, a year, 6 months, whatever you can afford, and then just take action. Who cares? It's, one should know it's a good deal. Numbers are going to be off a little bit here and there. I mean, I don't know to this day, Max, I don't know if you've ever been correct on your rehab budget for any house I've never been exact on any rehab.
I don't think I ever have either. I can't say I have. It's easy, and you know what? I've even been less sometimes.
That's exactly. You could be less. That's
I've
good.
been less. I've been more. You know,
That's
it
good.
really all depends because sometimes, and you know, some like you said similarly in the beginning, right? You had 4 different exit strategies that you were looking at, and you didn't even really have a set strategy before you
No,
purchased the property, from what I understood.
I knew we were going to make money.
Right. Exactly. You
Numbers
knew
were right.
that there was a profit. You just had to figure out, well, how am I going to make my profit now? Am I going to do A, B, C, or D?
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes it may just make sense to just sell the property the way it is. Like you said, just do a little bit of makeup, clean it up, get rid of the trash, sell the property, and you're going to make a profit. Because I'd rather have zero risk knowing that the property's gone today than know that, hey, I have to hold on to it for another 6 months till everything's done, and then I could make a better profit.
Yeah, I think we're in the process of buying like 3. Hopefully, third one. I hope the guy accepts it. 2 for sure. And one of them has like almost. We have a $10,000 budget just to clean out that house. You can't walk in. You cannot move around the house. That's how bad it is. So clean property where people can just walk through it, look at it. It's not as threatening. Do the landscaping, spend a few thousands, and a couple of major items. If you want to do, go ahead and do it. It doesn't cost much money, but they'll present your deal in a whole new way, and you should be able to get more money for it.
Absolutely. So I want to take this time, Ijaz, if it's okay with you, I want to take this time to open up for any questions and answers that we may have. I'm going to be monitoring Facebook Live and our Q&A box.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions, please let us know. Ijaz is here, ready to answer it, help you out. If you have a deal, maybe you have just a basic preliminary question on real estate, maybe there's something you don't understand, please let us know.
Yeah. I don't see that, right? You'll talk it out.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
call it out. I mean, it looks like you did a really good job in answering everything up front. But guys, I'll give another minute or so for any questions to come in. And in the meantime, also, Ijaz, I guess we'll just talk. I have a couple of questions that came up,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
Sure.
So when you started marketing, you said you started off with just the bandit signs, right? But you also had a marketing budget. What else were you doing to kind of put your name out there, let people know what you were doing, make the relationships that you have today?
Roselle Park property came from my car sign. Wrap your cars. They're great. You look a lot more professional when you pull up into somebody's house. I had somebody call me, hey, I saw your sign on Garden State Parkway. It's fine. I see you see, I don't have a fancy car that I get looks, but with my signs, oh yeah, people are looking. That's one that have gotten me deals. Wholesalers, anytime you see a bandit sign, call them. My second deal came from bandit signs. I called the guy. I said, hey, dude, I saw your bandit sign. What are you doing? You have any deals? And 2 weeks later, he called me up. He's like, yeah, I got a deal. You want to take a look at it? The hard money lenders have a list. Some blast out wholesale deals. Some just you get your word out. Attending events was really good.
That's how me and you met.
Not anymore. I don't know. Right now, we less events, but I think the events are starting to come back here and there. Virtual's great.
So I saw a picture yesterday with you and Chris Anderson, and I wasn't sure if that was an event that just happened or if he was reminiscing an old one.
It's an old one.
Okay.
We were. He had me a couple of times as a panelist there, but that was before COVID. I think as soon as we had a virtual one during COVID with Farhan El team, Apex group. So, I mean, it's good to connect with them and make a list. I made a list of people that I was going to reach. COVID, if you can't get out, I think this is good time to do those driving for dollars.
Oh yeah, this is a
If you got
great time
time
to
on
do
your
that.
hands, do that. But I'm going to reach out to people during COVID. Just have a conversation. Hey, what's going on? What are you doing? And build each other up, or at least have some positive feedback. Because if you're in your own bubble, it's not that good either. Um, Visit job sites, people's job sites. Those have been really good for me. Uh, Very nice. And pull up anytime a construction is going on. Don't be afraid to stop, pull up, talk to. If you find the investor, good, great, buy him a coffee. And then or you at least have contractors. A lot of people get scared of going into the business because they don't know contractors. But if you know those guys are working on a job site, boom, there you got your list of contractors.
They work.
They're working. They're already, working with an investor. They understand,
And if I might also add one last thing, by the way, a lot of people forget that they've been around for a very long time and they've made a lot of connections over that time. And if you just go through your phone, right? One thing that I did when I moved to Austin, I didn't know anybody, right? I had no friends, no family there. I had to kind of make my own connections. The easiest way I found doing that was through the phones. The easiest way.
Yeah,
Just dial.
text.
Who could I
Oh,
talk to? Right. And then I started going through all my calls and my contacts, right? So I did every week I would cover a different letter. So I started with A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way to Z. And I would just contact and say, hey, look, this is what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to get involved in real estate. I'm looking to buy properties. If you know anyone that might be looking to sell or someone that might be looking to buy, please let me know. I'd love to see what we can do to help them out. And the next thing you know, your friends, your families, your raving fans are all there trying to help you out because they care the most about you.
yeah.
And then next thing you know, the deal falls on your table.
Yeah. No. I've right now, so on the calling side, texting is great. Okay. That have been really good, especially with follow-ups. You don't have time to follow up with people and you're scared of the phone. Listen to this. I have a listing, and the guy I worked with in another when I had my office in Somerset, he used to be there too. He's moved out to California, and I've never spoken to the guy after. I have yet to speak to that gentleman, but we're closing his house. I'm the listing agent for that house. We're closing it this week. No, Monday. And I haven't spoken to him. It's all text. All done through texting.
Wow. I
WhatsApp.
don't think I've ever done that.
I mean, I don't know if you use WhatsApp or not, but WhatsApp is great,
I love WhatsApp. Actually, I use it a lot for like foreign investors. They maybe they're in a different time zone. You can't call them as easily. It's easy to just leave voice notes, pictures, video calls. That's really where I use it.
I mean, I get business through texting. That's it. It's fine. I mean, it's a nice way of doing it. Social media is great, man. Social media is great. Fantastic.
And you're really good at that, by the way, too. I see you every week. You have a little poster that comes out, a nice little tip, that smile, just making everyone feel good.
I don't make those. Pay for those. It's not a lot of money, very little money. And they, it's these are great things. And I have my old boss reached out 2 days ago, a few days ago. He's like, Jazz, you're an inspiration. I look at your post. You've done so good on social media. He's like, you and I gotta have a conversation. I said, fine, we'll get together, do whatever you need. He's like, I hope he's not thinking of as a consultant. I can't offer anything in healthcare. That's where he's from. I came from the healthcare project management side of the business. So hopefully, they see value. I think, and even your clients. I had first time I had one guy, no, two times. One guy came to an office to meet with me because he wanted to know I was a legit company. And he came and met when he was looking to sell a house. Never ended up selling me the house. That was a difference. And the second guy, he's like, I want to see a job you're working on. I want to know you're legit. And he was a old man, he came to a job site to see my guys work. I mean, they don't care. They just want to know you're doing something. You're working.
Right.
You could figure out a way to get to somebody else's office if you don't have it, or go to somebody else, meet them at somebody else's job site. It doesn't matter. It's okay. But
Sure.
yeah,
Sure. Well, hey, Jazz, looks like you did an amazing job. You were definitely extremely informative. We definitely appreciate having you here. It was a great presentation. Thank you so much for really diving into it. For everyone who wants to review this webinar, you'll be able to find it on YouTube, and you'll also be able to find it on our website, expresscapitalfinancing.com. If you go to the top of our website, you'll see business resources and then past webinars, and you'll see Jazz right there going ahead. So you could re-listen to this, again, there was a lot of information in here, right? You might have not caught everything the first time. Maybe you need to hear it again. Maybe you want to hear it again in 6 months from now. But if there's any questions that you have, if you want to run a deal with Jazz, if you want to talk to him about being your real estate agent, helping you find deals or getting involved in real estate, you have his number right there, 908-380-6304. Feel free to email him as well at jazzholmesnj@gmail.com. If anyone has any questions in regards to financing, you're not sure if you have what it takes right now to get involved, you want to make sure that you'll be able to complete your purchase before you speak with Jazz, definitely give me a call. I make sure to go through everything in high detail with you, explain to you the entire process, get you pre-approved so you have the confidence to go out there and put those offers and know that you'll be able to close, right? That's some of people's biggest fears is, what if I put an offer and I can't close, I lose my deposit? Well, that's why it's important to have a conversation. We'll make sure we get you all situated. We'll tell you what you're going to be looking. We'll help you decide what you want to look for. We'll put you in touch with Jazz, make sure you get some good deals. And hey, again, Jazz, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thanks. It was great. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Bye.
All the best.